I love working with pastels, and as someone who's always been better at drawing than painting, but loves the vibrant colours that paintings can achieve, I've certainly found pastels to be the perfect medium for me, being this nice combination of the two. Plus, it's just really fun and satisfying blending them. But because of their delicate nature, and how easily they collect dust or smudge if you're not careful, the finished products need to be framed if you want to display them. They also need to be framed carefully, requiring something to create a barrier between the artwork and the glass, so that the pastel doesn't sit against the glass, which means extra materials are needed. But rather than contributing to the demand of new materials, the environmental impacts of that, I wanted to rely solely on materials from things that have already been used. Heaven knows there are certainly more than enough existing materials out there already, too much of which just ends up as waste once people are done with it. So, as I made mention of in my last video, I spent a while last year sourcing old frames and other materials that I could use or repurpose to frame my art. This involved a fair bit of op-shop hunting to try and find the right size frames, or close enough to. I was lucky to find a couple that were still in perfect condition, but the rest needed sanding back to get rid of the dints and scratches they'd acquired. With so many to do, I used my dad's electric sander, powered by our solar panels, squeezing the life out of the sandpaper I found in my dad's shed. I did feel really bad about the noise pollution that generated though. Sorry birds! Going forward, if I need to sand back a frame, I want to try and do it by hand, since I'll only have the one to do at a time henceforth. There was one piece for which I couldn't find the right size frame, so ended up getting a larger frame than needed and cutting it down to size. Sawing the wood was easy enough, if a little effortsome, but trying to cut the glass was less successful. Not sure if the glass cutter I borrowed was just too old and blunt, or if I'm really that incompetent, but I couldn't seem to cut it properly no matter how closely I tried to follow YouTube tutorials. So I ended up taking it to a glass cutter nearby, who quickly and easily did it for me for free. I still have scraps of glass I'm not sure what to do with, so if you're in Melbourne and are after pieces of glass, please let me know. Oh, and I used a neighbour's nail gun to stick the new edges together, in case you're wondering. The next step was on to repainting the frames. I started looking into sourcing leftover paint, and found that a friend had a bunch of white paint left over from when she painted her unit that was just sitting there, which she kindly let me take. Conveniently, the paint is both vegan and relatively eco-friendly, and there's plenty of it, so it will no doubt last me a long time. The next step was creating space between the frames. Generally, there are two ways you can do this. Most commonly is to use a mat board, but whilst it's an easy way to frame them, I don't actually like the look of them. To me, they make the framing stand out too much, and take you away from the imagery more than I'd like. I want my artwork to feel more immersive than that, so I want it to fill up the frame. The conventional way to do this is to use plastic spacers, which of course is out of the question. After playing around with some different ideas, I found that if I cut mat boards down to 1 centimetre or 2 in width and attached strips of thick cardboard behind them, they served in creating the space needed without distracting too much from the artwork. The mat boards I cut up were ones that either came from the frames I found at op shops or that I'd collected from people over time, and the cardboard strips were made from discarded cardboard boxes I've been collecting over time. Then it was just a matter of putting them together, placing them inside the frame, and then carefully layering my art over the top of it. And yeah, that's how I frame my art. If you'd like to see any of my artwork in person, I'm having an exhibition at the Eco Centre on the 31st of May, where I'll also be giving a talk in the afternoon, so feel free to come along to that. Anyway, that's all. If you liked this video and would like to see more videos about the ocean or my art, support me in my passion and help me to hopefully inspire more people to like and care for our oceans, then clicking away would apparently be really helpful with that. So yeah, click the buttons. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye!